Hello everyone, welcome to the first episode of Where is My Cup? By the way, this is my first time doing a podcast, and I'm pretty sure for you as well, Mr. Shardana.
Yes, it is.
So, how is it? But before that, introduce yourself. Who are you?
My name is Sharat Nair, and I'm the CEO of Alphaworldwide. We are an automotive logistics company, and we specialize in moving cars worldwide.
Moving cars worldwide.
Yeah.
And let's talk about Alpha Worldwide itself. So, is this a business that you took over? Because it has a pretty good amount of global presence and online presence in the market.
Well, no, I started this business. I started by myself in 2016. And we started from scratch the company, and we built this company up over a period of time.
Or a period of time.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. When did you come to Dubai?
I came to Dubai 9 years back, and I worked here for a year.
Okay.
And after that, I started the company. And from there, it's been this business. This has been all my life.
So is it like a rags to riches story?
Not in Dubai, but in Gulf, yes. I moved to Bahrain. I was working as a delivery man for a supermarket.
Oh, damn.
And then I learned a lot. From there to become the CEO, there's a lot to learn. And that was I consider it as a very lucky experience, not a sympathy story or a rags to riches story. It's a great learning experience which I had, because I sold water bottles, I sold French fries, I sold yellow pages, I sold online websites, and today I'm selling car shipping, and a few cars as well. So it helped me mold my professional career.
Okay, so there's shipping and there's car shipping. Where did you choose shipping and that to focus on car shipping?
Well, I moved to Dubai for certain reasons when I moved here. And there was a time when I was working for a company. The first year I was working for a company, but due to certain circumstances, I had to leave the company. And then my first thought was to go back into marketing. But that's when I understood, spending that time here in Dubai, I understood logistics. Dubai taught me what logistics is, what trading is, and what is the free trade port and the geographical benefits of being here. And then I thought shipping is a good industry to be in because of the networks, the global networks. And I always wanted to be somebody who could travel the world and have networks around the world, to grow and have a bigger influence on a global perspective.
Makes sense.
So that's why I got into shipping, logistics. And car shipping, because one of the most it's like logistics is something which is key in this globe today. Like, for example, when you had COVID, every other business shut down except medical and logistics, for example, and a few others. But logistics, you can't shut it down because the whole world will go to rest. So in that way is why I went into shipping. And now why car shipping is because that is logistics of logistics. Like those cars are moving goods or moving people. So you're moving things that's going to move things. So that's, again, it's a supply chain. It's a very sustainable business. And once you make your mark in that industry, then it is then you will reap the benefits of it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And let me ask you this question. What was the first car that you shipped?
The first car that I shipped by myself with my own company was a Toyota Camry. Actually, not one, 100 of them, because it was all scrap cars from the taxis, which were going to Africa. So yeah, I mean, I was also surprised. So all of Dubai was surprised because why is this guy coming buying all the scrap cars? But it was a good experience.
Now, what all cars do you guys ship?
We've shipped every possible car in the world, Bugattis and Koenigseggs and anything possible. You can talk about McLaren, Speedtails, everything. We do, but it's not that we do fancy cars alone. We move cars, whether it's accident cars or regular cars or relocation cars. There's different categories why people move cars, so we are open to all kinds of car focused logistics.
Logistics makes sense. And one thing what I noticed is that Dubai in general is basically a global hub for car shipping. So what do you think the future of Dubai is in terms of car shipping?
Well, Dubai is always playing a very important role in the supply chain of the globe, because if you take the world map, Dubai is right in the center of the world, So as long as trading is happening, Dubai will have a role to play for sure. And they're being very strategic about their operations, like DP World, for example, owns almost all the ports across the world, There's nobody bigger than DP World in logistics in terms of operations of port operations, Dubai will always have that in trading. And now talking about cars, again, as I said, cars is a necessity. So all cars, like for example, now a car, you can talk about the biggest sources of cars. Okay, where do these cars come from? Cars are mainly manufactured from USA, Japan, Korea, Europe. These are the main markets. Now from there, it has to go to the globe. These are for brand new cars. So from Germany, it has to come to Dubai. Every Mercedes you buy, most of them, of course, they could be manufactured in different plants, but the brand as such, it's from Germany to here.
Germany makes sense. Yeah.
Used cars come from all over the world to this part of the world. Because Dubai is firstly free trade policy, where you have very good laws and flexibilities in terms of bringing the commodity into the region and working on it and then exporting it back, re-exporting it. So when it comes to used cars, anywhere in the globe you take it, the cost of importing the car temporarily, repairing it, the labor cost, the spare parts availability, all of that, because Dubai is a big market, so everything is available over here. So it makes a lot of sense, and we do a lot of cars. We bring it all the way from US to here, and then from here it's repaired and then re-exported to multiple destinations.
damn.
Yeah.
Is it like a huge business?
It is a very big business. It's $1 billion business. So yeah, I mean the actual stats is online, but it's billions of dollars per year.
Okay, so let's talk about this. One thing what I learned about you guys is this, that you guys itself will source the car for the clients and then ship it to them. So how does this process work?
So this process started when I didn't have a job. I got kicked out of my previous company for whatever reasons. Then there was this client who wanted me to go and check. So my previous company, we used to buy and sell, trade with cars.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, they are still buying and selling cars, used brand new cars. So when I walked out, I didn't continue that business. I didn't want to get into that line because of somebody else's business. So, but I got an opportunity to ship these scrap cars, used cars. And the same client called me once and asked if I could go to Abu Dhabi and check one car. And honestly speaking, that time I don't know I don't know nothing about cars and I don't know anything about logistics. But he trusted me. He trusted me with his money, and he said, okay, he's in Denmark, and he was like, okay, can you please go and check this car for me? And it was a C63, I remember. And
started off strong, huh?
Yeah, CC3, if you call it a strong car, there's more cars, So, but yeah, I mean, we checked that car, we bought it, but then he played a very important role in my life because he supported me by giving me continuous business, and he continued to let me check cars, which improved my skills in checking cars to a point where we set a standard to vehicle inspections from UAE. At one point of time, I mean, most of the companies who right now do this service, what we do, have copied from us. They've taken what we have done. I would say, I mean, now we have car selling apps, like some of these apps, they have inspection services. But if you look at Alphaworldwide, we did it from 2016, we've been doing it. And the inspection report, what they do now is what we did 5 years back. We are evolving. We are evolving. We have some new inspection reports coming in and all that to make sure that anybody who wants to buy a car from Dubai, from anywhere in the world, are secured that they get what they are told.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So car shipping is not the only thing that you guys do. So give me a breakdown. Let's just say I'm a client sitting in Germany.
Yeah.
I saw this beautiful 930 Porsche 911, and it's in Dubai. Obviously, I'm in Germany. If I'm not able to travel, and how do I trust you guys with the car? So how is this process like? How does it work?
Yeah, so to first, I mean, very rightly you asked, trust is the main factor in this business, because if you're buying such a car, you have to trust somebody with a lot of money, and that is where we come and play the role. Because in the past, there have been, I mean, in global trade, when you send money across to any part of the world, unless you have a strong connection there, your money is always at stake, and that is where we found an opportunity where there needed to be a trusted partner to buy cars from this part of the world. So we did everything it takes to get that trust. We built that trust. Trust is not something which we could, get it like this, with a branding or a logo, or even if you bring the biggest brand ambassador, it's not something you can buy. It is something you earn. So we built that trust over time. Like I built the trust of my client, the first guy who gave me taxis, then he gave me a C63, then he gave me a McLaren, and went on, And from then people saw, okay, this guy is moving cars. Okay, somebody's trusting him with these high-end cars. Then the word spreads, So that's how it is built. But definitely, yes, from our side, we take every effort to keep that trust at its best. And it's not that we have not had experiences. We've had a lot of experiences, but nothing is on terms of breaking the trust. We have agreements, we have disagreements. There's a lot of things in business, but trust is something which is completely different.
Trust is key.
Yeah, and that's something you can't play around with.
Makes sense. And how many cars have you guys shipped so far?
We've been in business for the past 8 years, so it's close to around 6,000 to 7,000 cars.
7,000
Yeah,
cars.
yeah, yeah. We don't do volumes. We prefer doing quality business.
Quality
So
businesses.
yeah, so we try to maintain our volumes, but we try harder to stick to our maintain our standards.
Makes sense. So let me ask you this question. There are more than 6,000 car shipping companies over here in Dubai. Why should a client choose you guys? And obviously there are companies who will do this business for a cheaper rate. So does price play a factor?
Price definitely plays a factor in every trade. But at the end of the day, there are people who appreciate quality. I could give you examples, like as you rightly said, out of the 6,000 companies, I would assume that around 5,000 companies would be fighting with each other for price, or maybe even 5,900. The remaining 100 companies don't fight for price because they believe in their quality. And we, as I said, we also don't believe in volumes and fighting for $50. I would demand for a $300 or $500 profit margin because I would give $1,000 worth of services.
This is
So
a very good question. The profit margin. Let's talk about profit margin. Each car, what is the profit margin you guys are making?
in the shipping business, not just car shipping, but in the shipping business, logistics business, margins are, when it's by sea, margins could be anywhere between $100 to $500 if it's a good deal. If it's by air, if you're lucky, you can go up to 1,000. Yeah, and these are the fair margins. But again, it depends. There are companies who are able to charge $2,000 as a margin and still maintain their service and quality, reputation. Like, for example, I would pull out the reference of global giant whose cars relocation. They've been in the business for the longest time, and they charge a premium, but their clients, they appreciate the services. So as long as you provide services, there's always a community who wants to. If they'll appreciate your service, they will come back to you. And also, it's that when you have different markets here. We have dealers, we have people who are going on holidays. So people who are going on holidays are
should
not
do
going to
car
negotiate
then,
for
yeah.
$300,
True that.
but they will not be happy if you don't give them top quality services. So that's where we are targeting it, to give quality service to people who appreciate it and be the number one, like Alphaworldwide. The name of the company, when I started it, I didn't have to think too much because I just wanted to become number one in the world.
Oh, that's why you named the company Alpha.
Yes. Very simple.
That's crazy. So anyway, let's talk about this thing. So one thing what I wanted to ask you is this, that the rules and regulations of different countries for car export. So how is it like? What is the craziest country to export a car in terms of rules?
In terms of rules, I mean, there's nothing crazy about rules, but of course, I mean, you could say in terms of numbers, like for example, globally there is a standard pricing between 5 to 30% of taxes, for example. But there are some countries like India and Pakistan where they go up to 250% taxes, so there's no import possible. Apart from that, I mean, like for example, USA has their own rules. I mean, that's something which not many people know. Is that, for example, Dubai, you can bring cars from Japan, you can bring cars from Korea. They have opened their markets. Also because they don't manufacture cars yet, probably. But US, you cannot import any other car other than US. So cars which are built in US, they stay in US. They can export, but you can never import cars into US
Oh, no.
because they don't want to. They don't want it to affect the automotive industry in, because Ford, GMC, all these brands come from USA,
US.
and this is the major consumption of USA. The minute the smaller cars come from Japan and all that, people will eventually start buying it. So they try to make they limit those imports.
They want to be the monopoly.
They want to make the money out of their own markets. They don't
Makes
want anybody
sense.
else to come and make it.
And one thing what I learned about US is this, that cars older than 25 years can only be imported into US. Is it true?
Yeah, so unless so we have cars. Every car is made for a certain region. Like we have Gulf specification cars, we have US specification cars, we have Japanese specs, European specs. So if drive a car in USA, it has to be a US specs car. You can't even enter a car which is not a US specification car unless, as you rightly said, it's a classic car. It's categorized as classic. Then it's free to go wherever you want to. Across the world, it's kind of free. Or it is going on a holiday, where many of our clients take it for there's something called carnet de
Car,
passage.
it's basically a passport for your car. If I'm
But
not
technically, it's a passport figure. They give a booklet, and then that booklet you take it with the car. And when it comes to customs, they stamp the visa, and you can drive it for up to 6 months. And some cases you can extend it based on approval, but
up to 1 year.
up to 1 year, yeah. But it's based on approval. Otherwise, it's 6 months. You can drive it in many parts of the world except a few regions.
Yeah, that's what I
Sanctioned.
noticed,
Yeah.
especially in the Carnet passport. If you take a look into it, it said not valid in Portugal and Iran.
Yes.
Why is that?
Well, see, the thing is, Carnet is an agreement between the customs departments of multiple countries, and even in our daily trade, we have a lot of challenges, I would put it that way, to deal with certain customs of certain regions. And on that note, it's the decision of Portugal and well, Iran, for the matter of fact, that is sanctioned also, So, but there are permissions, there are other options to do it. But Carnet being an international body, of course, I would assume that they're all over the world, including USA, so they don't have any permissions to go into Iran and have an office. And Portugal, of course, I am aware that the customs in Portugal is Portugal's Switzerland, of course, not part of EU, but Portugal and Spain are more challenging than the rest of Europe, I would say, in terms of customs. They're more strict, basically. So they are very aware of very wary of what is coming in and what is going out.
Makes sense. So is this an easy business to get into?
Any business is easy to get into. To sustain and succeed in it is
Makes sense, because most of the companies over here in UAE won't last more than 2 years.
I would beg to differ there. I mean, I would definitely agree to you that there are companies who wouldn't last for 2 years, because Dubai is a place that can give you that motivation, but it won't come and do the job for you. So many people come here. Most people come here with a dream. But fighting for that dream to come into reality is what it takes. So maybe the companies who you're talking about is hadn't had the right strategies, or hadn't had the right stamina, or strategies, or the people, or whatever it could take. It is not difficult. It is not easy to build a successful company as well. But having said that, we have. I would believe there are thousands of great role models in this place, rags to riches stories. People who have come here, and I'm not rags to riches, I'm rags to maybe a little bit more, But there are people who have come here and made fortunes, or big names over here. Some of the top businessmen over here, which we know of, are people who came here and made their money. So that's why I said Dubai would give you the opportunity. It's about how hungry you are. How much effort are you willing to put in? I would like to relate to the interview which the Sheikh of Dubai had where he had mentioned about the cheetah and the gazelle. And there's a beautiful message. I don't recollect the exact words, but it's about, every morning when you're in Dubai, you get up and run. Whether you're a cheetah or a gazelle or whatever you are, you run, and then you'll win. And that's the best message which any leader can give. You don't wake up and wait for things to happen. You get up, you move, and you progress.
It doesn't matter if you're a cheetah or a gazelle. When you wake up, you better start running.
I mean, those are things. I mean, you're living in a place where every building you walk into, you see pictures of people who are living legends, who turned this place from sand into the most happening place in the world, So that is motivation. You have people, you surround yourself, they say, you surround yourself with 5 successful people and you'll have those traits. This place is fully surrounded with people who have great stories. And it's also about which side you're looking at. You can look in the direction of negative or positive. We can learn from the negatives, but we can't go by it. We need to believe in ourselves and focus.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Another question which I have is this: that do you think that only a strong team can grow a business?
Yes. To answer your question of growing a business, yes. Without a team, you can set up a business, you can start it, you will have a threshold, because I learned it the hard way, I would put it. I learned it, I like that process, but I learned it the hard way. And that's when I realized that you can't do everything. No matter how good you are, you cannot be at 10 places at the same time. You cannot pick up 10 phone calls at the same time. So you definitely need a team after a certain point if you want to grow. If you decide, okay, this is all I need and this is how I'm going to go for the rest of my life, okay, you can stop there and you can continue to operate as a single person, But if you want to go big, you need to be able to nurture people who can do what you're doing so that you can do better things as you grow.
Okay, that's good. That's interesting. So another question which I have is this: that obviously you have been in this business for quite some time. What is the craziest car shipping story you have?
Craziest car shipping story. It's craziest. The one I can. There are a few incidents which happened. I mean, one was when we were supposed to deliver a car to Italy, and it was pre-COVID. It was before COVID, and it was a Ferrari SF or something. I'm not sure what model it was, but it was an Italian client who bought it, and we were supposed to do door-to-door delivery. And when we say door-to-door delivery, it's from pickup to customs clearance, registration of the car in Europe. There's a process, we do.
So the client doesn't have to do anything.
Nothing. The
You guys
client
itself
just
will
have
do
to
everything.
click buttons,
Oh,
and
that's
we'll
it.
take care of everything from inspection to the secure payment, where we source we do something called like the escrow, where you can source the funds. I mean, you can route the funds through our account, so we safeguard that, and then we have the documentation work, then the local transport, shipping the car to the destination port. Once the car arrives there, the customs clearance process, and after that comes the little bit task, which is the registration process. Unlike Dubai, where they are open and very they're not too strict about many things, about winter tires, summer tires. Now Europe has those kind of regulations. Winter you need to change the tires, summer you need to have these tires, the indicators has to be of this color. So that's called a homologation process. It's a process of converting a GCC car or any specific car into a European car. That takes. So there was this Ferrari which we shipped, and that Ferrari took a lot of time. Owner of the car flew me from here to Germany, picked me up from the Germany airport, and drove me down to his house. And that's when he locked me down for 2 days till he got the car out. Till then, he was talking very nicely.
So you were basically kidnapped.
Yeah, I could say that. Me and a friend of mine, because I knew something's going to happen. Because the guy calling, asking for a Ferrari and sending me tickets to Germany is not calling me to.
Okay,
serve me a platter,
a few hours.
he bought me tickets. He said, "Come immediately because I want you when the car is arriving." It's not coming. I genuinely wanted to go and help him and see what has happened.
Okay.
But I didn't know his plan was to take me from there directly to his house and to take me to the port. Then I had to call the clearing agent. But within 2 days, then it happened. But
The main question is, did you get food?
yes, that's exactly what I was going to say. So after that, so when he saw that, because he thought I ran away with the car. He genuinely thought, because I was referred to by a showroom, so he doesn't know who Sharat, who's Alphaworld. He's sitting in Germany. He's an Italian guy sitting in Germany, So he genuinely thought the car has gone missing. So he sweet talked me, and he thought I fell for that. I didn't fall for that. I went to help it because I want to solve the problem, because I have a reputation at stake.
True.
So I went there, and he did this. So he said we were supposed to go to the port and the agents and all that. He clearly turned and went to his house, and he said, "Call your friends and did it. Till then, you stay in my house." So 2 days we stayed in his house, and nobody came and disturbed us. After 2 days, when the car came, somebody came and picked us up from the house and took us to a restaurant, and that's when we knew he was a restaurant owner. And it's a famous restaurant in Bremerhaven itself, and he cooked for us. He is an Italian guy, and that was the first time I actually enjoyed eating pasta, because he made it the ethnic Italian way.
Italian style.
And that's when I was sitting with my friend and asking the guy who came with me. I called him straight away because I knew this guy calling me there, something may go wrong. So I called my friend from Europe and said, "Please safeguard me." So I locked him also in the house. So when we were having food, I was like, "Bro, just make sure there's no poison or something." We were scared. We were very scared that time. And
So it was basically a guinea pig.
Yeah, possibly. I was this big, yeah. But I was new to business, there was new. All this was new. Cars going late and all that. So every time, since as you had asked, I didn't take this business over from anybody. I'm learning. I started this from scratch. When I started, I didn't know what shipping is, and I'm learning cars. So it is a learning curve. And in the shipping industry, it could be very challenging if you don't have good contacts. So those were all learning curves which helped me reach where I am today.
Obviously, it's not always highs in this business. What's the most amount of money you are lost in this industry?
I lost 1.8 million dirhams for a deal which had $500 margin.
No way. 1.8 million dirhams.
Yeah.
How? How can you lose that much?
There was a
You were
car-
supposed to make how much dirhams, by the way?
$500.
$500.
Yeah.
And you lost 1.8 million
$700 maybe, yeah. 1.8 million dirhams, yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah. There was an accident which happened.
Like how? What happened? That's right.
A car caught fire in the airport.
What car was it?
It was a Lamborghini SVJ 2023.
Damn, SVJ got fire.
Yeah, because there was a manufacturing defect, and there was it was negligence from some of the authorities. So
Did they like start the car and went or something?
yeah, that's what happened. The car was left on for a while, and things started heating up, and then they reacted to the heat, which damaged the car. So unfortunately, things turned against us, and again, a learning curve. So there was a lot I could have done better, which I learned I should do not next time.
But that was an expensive mistake, I guess. Huh?
I think I'm the only shipping guy who could not proudly, but after learning from that, which there's experiences, and there was a lot which went through, because I wasn't no fault. There was no fault of mine, but still things happen the way it has, and but I could say I'm the only person who would have had that experience of firsthand, having this to my title that I bought the car. So yeah.
That's not an ordinary car though. Lamborghini Aventador SVJ, by the way, it's a one of 800 car.
I wish it.
Right now, it's one of 799.
Wow,
that's crazy. So anyway, let me ask you this question: What's your view on electric cars? And obviously, electric cars are becoming a huge trend nowadays. But I'm not a huge fan of electric cars either ways. But China is actually the biggest manufacturer of electric cars after US, if we take Tesla into account. But how is China playing a role in this global trade?
So electric cars, firstly, electric cars, and then we go to China and how it's affecting. So electric cars definitely like I understand you don't like electric cars, and I also probably wouldn't like it much. Maybe for a short distance or something.
Okay, so let me cut you down over there. Obviously, we are shipping cars through a container,
Hmm.
and electric cars comes with battery. Isn't it like a safety hazard? Like it
Correct.
could catch fire if
For
you think
sure,
about
for
it.
sure.
Yeah.
So any electric car that's been shipped, I mean, there are strict regulations. We send it by air. That's out of question. Now, when you're sending it by sea, also there's a lot of regulations and certification documentation that needs to be approved by the shipping line, and even after which, once it's approved, the containers are marked as dangerous goods. So there is a special charge. There are dangerous goods moving in ships. So this is categorized as dangerous goods and it's moved in a separate category.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
So do you think electric cars are the future?
High chances are there because they have been throwing it out in the market for so cheap prices. So majority of the audience buy cars for their necessity, not luxury. So their Chinese cars are the best. Like they have
Use and throw. Huh?
Yes, yes. Yeah, even in this part of the world, if you look at it, how could electric cars affect this part of the world? Here, if you look at the population of UAE, most of the people are expats. They're not talking about buying a car and keeping it for the next 25 years. They need clear flip, cheap, best flip, throw, go to the next. So that works for most markets nowadays. And the world is going in a direction of sustainability and all that. So cheaper, best, and all, cheap and best would be always good. But having said that, the after effects of these cars, the recycling and all of that, definitely has a bigger role to play, but I don't think we are looking so far ahead. So yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about this thing. And one thing what I learned recently is this, that you cannot ship a car from Qatar as a carnet. Why is that so?
Qatar had a lot of cars going towards UK during a period. But there were, I would like to believe that it was during a time when automotive logistics or car shipping is not modernized as before. So there were a lot of documentation errors, fines. For example, if there was a fine for a Qatar car, they couldn't charge it, and there was a lot of accumulation around it. Mostly because there's a lot of people from Qatar in the UK, and that's where it started from coming from first. So the Karnat departments, the customs departments, I would believe, had an issue, and they had discussed, and for a temporary period of time, they stopped it. But now we are moving cars from Qatar through Karnet, but they have to go through certain processes.
Makes sense. Shipping prices are very volatile. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. But recently, what I noticed is that, especially in Somalia, some of these container ships are getting hijacked. Is it a reason why these shipping prices are going up?
Well, shipping price, that is definitely a reason why the shipping price went up. But shipping prices have been going up and down ever since COVID. I mean, it's just a demand and supply, simple demand and supply game. Like when COVID happened, everybody needed containers to move masks, and there was desperation of containers because vessels were stuck in certain ports. So things had to move from one place to another. So naturally, the shipping demand went high, and the shipping companies increased their prices, and they had also major losses. They had to park ships for multiple months stuck in some ports which couldn't move. So to cover their losses, they kind of made it up with all the other few shipments which are going up and down. And the same goes for right now what's happening also in the Red Sea. When there is a risk, the prices go up, and there are multiple risks that can happen. Pirates, war.
Why do these pirates hijack these ships?
Money.
Like, in the sense, I didn't get it.
They hijack the ship, they take the commodities, and they'll either negotiate with the ship owners and give it back to them, or if they don't agree on a negotiation, they'll dismantle it and start selling it in their own markets. Like in one of the ships you saw, what happened in Yemen, they were having a circus inside the ship. They just took the ship, parked it in the side, and then there was dance and stuff happening because nobody came to negotiate. So usually there's a negotiation. It's like a pirate or a hijack or whatever. There's a negotiation. That's why they take it. And if that doesn't work out, then they just scrap it.
Scrap it. So what if there's a supercar inside that container?
Insurance is supposed to cover that.
Okay.
But the pirates are lucky. They'll find pirates in supercars after that.
That's crazy. Where do you guys majorly export these cars to?
Export happens to Africa. Well, the major markets would definitely be Africa. Russia would be taking a lot of cars right now. Um, Apart from that, Egypt, every developing country would be taking cars from Dubai, because they either don't have a supply of cars, so they need used cars, and when it comes to brand new cars, they are yet to develop to a certain stage where they have brand new showrooms for Toyotas, Lexus, and all that. So those would be the biggest markets. But having said that, the whole world is a market. Like cars go to India, even for tourism purposes.
As a Carnet.
Carnet,
Carnet is actually pretty growing right now in India, if I'm not mistaken.
People are making more money these days.
Yeah.
So they, lifestyle is changing for
Exactly.
people. Now everybody has an iPhone.
Good that you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Compared to other countries, cars are pretty cheap over here in Dubai.
Yeah.
Why is that so?
Compared to most countries, the tax is already cheaper over here. Like, ours is at 5%. India is at close to around 250%. Europe is around 35%, varying from different places. So on that note, it is definitely cheaper when you buy the car. The price of the car, whichever part of the globe it is, the price of the car is going to be X, and then comes the taxes and all the other fees. So in this part of the world, it's cheaper. So it's fairly cheaper, for brand new cars. Used cars, the reason is because Dubai is Dubai is one of the markets where you have most number of expats. So people buy, sell, they leave the country, they sell. There's that happening, and this would be one of the only countries where you have so many supercars available for rent, for photo shoots. So all these cars come out, as per the law of UAE, after every 3 years you have
3 or 5 years.
3 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So you should take the car out. So all these supercars which are being driven for rent, for example, and it's been driven on a daily basis by different people. So that is sold for cheap. So that way there's a lot of car stock in Dubai, It's and also the transit cargo which comes here to go out. So that's also there.
And also one thing what I noticed is that you guys also export a lot of crash cars, especially Ferraris and stuff like that. So is crash cars also a good market over here in Dubai?
We buy cars from Dubai. What we buy, we don't sell it here. So what we buy from here, like these Ferraris, what you're talking about, these are all exported, And
where do you guys buy these cars from?
Different auction houses. There are different auction houses. So when these cars are total loss or something, they go to insurances, and insurances have already tied up with different auction houses, and we pick it up from those auction houses. Most of the auction houses, yeah.
Do you guys get it for a good deal?
Time to time, because there are people across the world wanting to buy this.
So let's just say I'm a client sitting in Sweden. I saw this car. It's listed in the so and so called auction house. Do I contact you and pay you the full amount? How does it work?
No, we give both options. We'll either assist you in making your own account if you plan to buy many cars. But if it's going to be 1 or 2 cars, or probably 1 car, then we would definitely use our account to buy it. That's easier for everybody. So what we would do is we follow the same process with the auction follows. That is, we take a deposit first for a certain amount, so that and based on the deposit we can bid up to a certain amount. So that if for whatsoever reason you bid and you don't pay us, then this deposit is what we need to pay as fine to the auction.
Okay.
That is all we take and keep first.
So the deposit is basically 10% of the car's value.
Yeah, almost there. Depends on the auction, but it's plus minus 10-20% sometimes as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Of the bidding value.
What was the most expensive crash car you guys bought?
Could be you could call the Cullinan, or you could call the Ferraris, McLarens. We bought a lot of cars.
A lot of crash cars in Dubai. Huh?
There was a time when I don't know if you remember, we did a video where we had around 100 cars in our yard.
Yeah.
So that was
a while ago. That was 3 years ago.
Yeah. That video crossed 2 million views.
2.1 million
Thank
views
you.
on YouTube.
But yeah, those times, as there was everything there. Ferrari, Maserati, everything was there. I mean, not Bugatti, but yeah. We had G-Wagons, multiple G-Wagons.
There are plenty of G-Wagons over here in Dubai.
Yeah.
And I feel like at this point, I feel like you have shipped more than 60 G-Wagons.
60?
Yeah.
Oh, more. Out of 6,000 cars, probably around 1,000 G-Wagons. Because it's a very popular car. And now, as you rightly said, when the shipping prices go up, a lot of these small cars don't get shipped anymore because the shipping is more than the car price. So then it's all G-Wagon, because it's popular anywhere and everywhere. That's one brand.
It gets shipped mostly to Europe, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Everywhere in the world, bro. And personally, I mean, I was never a big fan of G-Wagon or anything. I was like, okay, what is this crazy about? And I'm always that person. If everybody's crazy about something, I don't want to go that side. But after when Dubai it rained, I had a G-Wagon. And hats off to that car, bro. Nothing to say. No, G-Wagon is G-Wagon.
Makes sense. And good that you mentioned about the rain. Recently, last April, there was some heavy flooding over here in Dubai, and it's estimated that close to 50,000 cars got flooded over here in Dubai.
Yes.
And a lot of those cars ended up in Dubai auction. Yes. Especially, did you see that? There was a Ferrari 488 Challenge Evo. The market price of that car was close to 800,000 euro.
Yeah.
And it got sold for close to 240,000 dirhams.
Yeah. I mean, no, in the auction, it's always, when it comes to super cars, then people kind of back out because you don't know what is wrong. You can't do an
exactly.
inspection and find out for a car which is already flooded.
Flooded.
You don't know what all is wrong with the
Yeah,
car.
because of the electricals, engine.
Yes,
Everything is
especially in the newer cars. If you take a speed tail and got flooded, nobody would really want to touch that car, or a Tesla for the matter. They don't know what to do to repair the car, how much it will cost.
Yeah.
So there the buyers are less, because that's also not a car which anybody would want to buy.
Yeah.
So those types of cars could go a little low and could be good for some people, because very few people know to work on these cars. But on the other cars like the G wagons and all that, they are fairly on the marketplace. Everybody's fighting for these cars.
What do you think is the best car for export?
Personally, I mean, I don't have a personal choice, but it's region wise. Like every region, as we had discussed before, every region has rules and regulations apart from taxes. Now, you cannot import a US spec 8-cylinder car into Saudi Arabia.
Why?
That's the rule there. You can't USA spec car, and 8 cylinders they don't allow, probably because of pollution and all that. You can only UAE is very flexible. They allow classic, they allow any year cars, and they're very good. They support this business a lot. But there are also year wise restrictions. Like after above 5 years, you can't import, above 5 years or 7 years, you can't import cars into almost all of the GCC countries unless you have a special permission.
Oh damn.
Yeah. Now, like that, there are, like, for example, Egypt, they will not allow import of cars which have engine capacity more than 2 liters. So there's no best car for export. It's market wise. There are popular cars. Yeah, they're very popular cars time to time.
That's interesting. Okay, so what do you think about electric cars and their impact on global trade?
Electric cars have certainly taken over a fair share of fair market share, of the volumes of cars. In fact, that is something I tried to study about. Like if you go back in 5 years, China did not exist in the automotive industry. Probably, yeah, they just were so small in the industry. I mean, they're giants in every single industry, but not the automotive industry. They don't have any brands of cars. In the last 3 years, the number of brands that China has come out with,
It comes out of nowhere, bro. Hawal, GWM, Exceed. That's a car which I saw. Geely, Hunchi.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And another thing is that they're good at copying certain cars as well. Do you see the new Jito T2? It looks exactly like the Defender. I'm telling you. And Arabs love it. I saw cars with 3-digit, 2-digit number plate as well. Jito T2.
Wow.
Crazy.
But I mean, for me, I mean, I keep that as a chapter in my life, because when the car started coming out, I did personally joke about it, but today it's taken over the market. So that's somebody did a good job while we were sitting and laughing about it, and that's something I like to learn from. And China definitely has completely changed the game now. And Teslas also, I believe most of them are manufactured in China. So electric cars are all manufactured in China. It's like almost like that. At least 90% of them.
True. I feel like most of the lithium and batteries manufacturing plants are in China.
Yeah, and I
said Sharjah.
Yeah, the fake ones. Yeah, but I think I need to do more research on that. But I would think that they learned the technology from Tesla. They got it from Tesla. Tesla was manufactured there for a while, so they were forced to do it every day. They replicated that into multiple. They have Chinese version Tesla, and they have the Volkswagen IDs, ID6, ID4. They have a Chinese version and they have a global export version, and they export both. So they have identified how to the skills in this manufacturing this automotive industry, and they've done it very well. And they're evolving every day. G-Tour, from 2 years back to now, they have evolved.
They have evolved.
Yes,
pretty big.
Yeah,
before it was a rare sight to see a G-Tour car, but now it's everywhere.
Bro, when I first saw the Jimny, I was laughing at it, bro. Today, Jimny looks like a G-Wagon. Things are changing, And even the G-Tour, like if we go back 2 years back, it looked very funny, the car. It looked like it was Chinese jokes,
Yeah.
But today, we are like, oh, wow. Okay, these guys are coming, And they've taken over. They are taking over, We are sitting in Dubai. I was in Ethiopia last month. And in Ethiopia, import of any fuel cars are banned. Only electric cars allowed. Only electric cars. Any electric car. Geely, Beely, A, B, C, D, Rohan, Robert, anything. But it has to be electric cars. I was amazed to see how many electric cars are there on the street. So in 3 years' time, Ethiopia, or 5 years' time, let's say, Ethiopia will not have any petrol cars there. They'll have only electric cars there. So that is a market which is consumed. And there are a lot of markets like that which is consuming a lot of electric cars. Dubai may not be, because fuel is cheaper here, So we don't see much, but we still see a lot.
Do you like that future though?
I don't have an opinion on that. I generally don't have an opinion on that, because that is an industry. But in terms of cars, obviously, I would, if you ask me, I like to have a petrol engine car. I'm not. This is not an electric car.
What's the best car you ever driven?
Uh, Recently, I started liking the Aston Martin DBX, which is very nice. I didn't have that impression on the first. It wasn't the first impression, but once I started driving it, I started liking it. But from the beginning, for me, personally, I like the. I felt like
McLaren.
it had good road grip and control, and the car was in your control. Um, I'm not much of a petro head. I also like the Nissan GTR. After I sat with a friend of mine for a road trip, it was a rally from UK to Ibiza, and he showed me what that car was. So I love that car.
Good tuning potential. Huh?
He's world famous, so he's tuned it to a different level. And I'm not a petro head, so I can't drive so well, but he drove 350, 360. He was just going, and that's when you feel the car, and that's when the petro head opened in my head. I was like, till then I was just a car person, but I felt it, that time. So those cars I like. But I also like comfort, so G Wagon is good.
G-Wagon is good.
G-Wagon is very good.
Obviously, you're in Dubai, so you have to love G-Wagons. So another thing, okay. So we're done with almost all of the questions. But before that, we have another question. I have another question. In UK, one thing what I noticed in UK is this, that you have both left-hand drive cars and right-hand drive cars.
Yeah.
Why is that so?
So UK, you will see left-hand drive cars and right-handed cars, but if you ask if it is sold from the showroom, it is not. It is actually all these cars which are in UK are either coming in from Europe, because Germany is right there. Germany is used to be. UK is not a big automotive market. Yes, we had Land Rover, Range Rover, which is not UK's anymore. India's bought over, So we don't have Aston Martin is there. They have a few brands. They have niche brands. They have it there, but most of the brands like Mercedes, Porsche, Audi, all the brands are sitting on the other side. And before Brexit, it was they can drive up and down, So that way they used to, and since they had a lot of people working in both sides, going traveling and all that, they allowed registration of left and right hand drive cars. You can bring the car from Germany and register there because you can buy the car from there. They allowed that trade. So because those big markets were there and they allowed the trade, you could anyway bring it from anywhere in the world and still they'll allow it even today.
So have you shipped any cars to any celebrities?
Yes, of course. We have shipped cars for many celebrities actually.
Like?
Even the cars which the Saudi government gifted to all the footballers, we shipped. We shipped them. Not cars. They had multiple cars were probably gifted, but we had the project of Mercedes Vianos. Each player had a Mercedes Vianos customized for them with fine leather seats and all of that done over here, and we had to move it from here to Saudi Arabia. Around 12 units for the team.
Mercedes
Vianos. And we have shipped cars for singers. We have shipped cars for famous vloggers. We have done a fair share of celebrities, actually.
What do you think an individual should have in order to be successful?
Good habits, discipline, a routine, self-control. It's all about towards yourself, I mean, you need to practice. You need to have discipline. Basic things: discipline, routine, and high standards. And
you always need to set your bar high.
Yes, if you want to live in Dubai, yes. If you want to live in Dubai, you need to have high standards.
Fair enough.
Yeah, happily. I mean,
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's what this place is about. I mean, what is low standard over here, brother? You don't have anything low standard over here. This place defines standards, and that's why I'm here. I want to learn and I want to define standards. I mean, initially when I started this company, I didn't think where I would go. But at one point of time, I was getting the motivation from Dubai. I'm in Dubai, I want to be the best. I'm in Dubai, I want to be the best. I'm in Dubai, I want to be number one. That's what echoes in this region. And so we want to be the best and keep high standards.
Well, I wish you all the best for that. Before we wrap up, I have this one question. Why do you think that we named the podcast "Where Is My Car"?
Well, as we discussed, in the first 2 years of my career with Alphaworldwide, when I was learning how to get the RTA paperwork done and what is this trade and how does the car go, all of these, I was learning step by step. It was a very interesting experience, but that one constant alarming call from many customers on a regular basis. I mean, now today we have technology. I mean, over the years we have WAP and all that, but those days it was manual updates of clients. So when the business went from 1 car to 5 cars, my first client, he was like, okay, where is this car? Where is that car? Okay, and I used to give him. But it started growing. It reached a point where everywhere I had there were a lot of people calling me and asking me, where is my car? Where is my car? Where is my car? I mean,
The way of
that's
asking also changed.
yeah. I mean, I mean, we understand the professional terms of it. So we know tracking details or container number. I would talk to my colleague and ask, okay, what is the tracking number for this container? But from a general perspective, if you give me my car, you're gonna ask me, where is my car? And that was a common question. And when I shared it to you, I mean, that's how we decided to name this
The
show. Where is
podcast,
my
Where
car?
is My Car?
Yeah.
By the way, this was my first time doing a podcast. You did very well, by the way.
Thank you, sir.
But I was mad
I
nervous.
think it's
to say
easier
the
to sit
least.
on this side.
Yeah, I guess so. But I was mad nervous. But anyway, this was our first podcast, and I'm pretty sure since I got this experience, I think I'll do better on the next one.
I'm sure you will.
I think
Sure
we have to
best.
do a second round of this.
We will. We definitely will.
So anyway, guys, that's a wrap for this podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. Do you
Thank
have
you very
anything
much.
to say?
If you need to ship cars from anywhere across the globe, please contact Alpha Worldwide, and we will be glad to assist you and define high standards in this service.